Okay, explain the meaning of the term isotope. We have done this loads of times in class. So isotopes, they are atoms of the same element which have the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. Okay, 1 mark for each statement. Here we're going to calculate the relative atomic mass. So all we do is we take the percentage and we multiply it by the mass. So 7.59 times by 6, and then we add the next one doing the same. So 92.41 times by 7, and we divide the whole thing by 100. So let me just do that on my calculator. So 7.59 times 6 plus 92.41 times 7, and then we're going to divide the whole thing by 100. So on my calculator, it's giving me, I'm going to write down the full answer, it's giving me that as an answer, but check, because it wants your answer to 2 decimal places. So here, that's place 1, that's place 2, and that's place 3. Place 3 is less than 5, so that means my answer is going to become 6.92 as a final answer. We can check if that's roughly right because most of the atoms have got a mass of 7, and therefore I'd expect my answer to be nearer to 7 than it is to 6. So that looks correct. And the final one, we'll just bolt it onto this and go through it. Again, I've done this in class, so I'm going to just go through the working out with people. First thing to do is you read the question and we identify what we're interested in the equation. So it says calculate how much aluminium, so I want to know how much aluminium would be produced if 51 grams of aluminium oxide was electrolyzed. So I've got 51 grams of this. So I'm going to start with this because I know the mass of it, and I'm going to use my Mr. Moles triangle in order to guide me through the calculation. So here I've written down the aluminium oxide, and the first step is to write down the mass. So I've got 51 grams. We then write down the MR. So the MR is from here. It tells me it's 102. So what I'm going to do now is we want to work out the moles. The moles is the mass divided by the MR. So I've got the mass of 51 divided by 102 is 0.5. I then want to write down the ratio. Well, the ratio is from the balanced equation. So this here tells me there are 2 lots of aluminium oxide. So my ratio here is 2. So we've got this column done. We now move over to the second substance, which in our example here is aluminium. So write down aluminium, and I start at the bottom, and I'm going to work my way up. So at the bottom here, we have got 4 moles, because the ratio here is 4, so we've got 4 lots of aluminium. And therefore, to get from here to here, we times by 2. So I have to times this by 2, so that's going to be 0.5 times 2 is going to be 1 mole. So I've got 1 mole of aluminium. The MR for aluminium is 27 because it tells me that here. Now to work out the mass, let's go back to my triangle. I want to work out the mass. The mass is the MR times moles, so it's the 1 times the 27, which is going to be 27.